Well, welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave, waking up for a very early morning over here in Helsinki, Finland. It's a nice, lovely Wednesday, very bright and sunny outside, but too fucking bright for me a little bit. In fact, we got plenty to talk about with Bitcoin, however, because Bitcoin being resilient in the area that we spoke about yesterday night during the live stream, really showing the path and really showing the strength of what we're looking at right now. So with all that said, I do believe that there's going to be some pretty damn massive opportunistic plays coming probably before the end of the week. So with all that said, I do want to wish you well. I do want to wish you the best, the happiest, and also, most importantly, welcome all of the new people here. My God, it's been an absolute adventure, and I just want to say, hey, pleasure to meet you, pleasure to have you all in here. And well, with all that said, let's waste no more time. Get into the live scene right here, right now. Initiate that good old teleportation, and I'll see you there. And there she is, Bitcoin in all of her massive glory, holding it high and tight, as someone said the other night. And to me, this is still looking, still looking fine, quote unquote. We did hold up above the critical area that we spoke about yesterday. As I just make sure that I'm actually recording. Okay, good, recording, and mic is working. Very, very happy about that. Anyways, we did hold above the critical area that we spoke about last night, which was very important, of course. Going down into our lower time frames right over here on the, we can do this on a 4-hour. We do see that this trend line, while getting 1, 2, 3 tests, did hold up each and every time, and we've been riding this this trend line the whole way through. So to me, that's completely fine. And just really mapping this out once again as a reaccumulation pattern, and in the form of likely an ascending triangle. So this ascending triangle right over here, still holding true, and you can pretty much govern this by the 4-hour yellow 21 exponential moving average as well. As long as Bitcoin remains above there, I do look for this to act, at first and foremost as an ascending triangle, which would imply, a bullish reaccumulation pattern, which would imply an upwards break. Of course, I've seen every fucking pattern break out, every possible way that you could ever think of. So, it's while it's more statistically likely, I do want to say, I always do want to keep an open, open eyes and ears. But this right here, this price action right here, a very good sign when you get these wicks to the downside being bought back up above, defending a major moving average like this, and also a trend line. Those are bull wicks is what they're called. And I'd say that does certainly offer up the opportunity that we, at the very least, come back up and test around 9350, 9400 region, somewhere at the top of this triangle right here. We do see 4-hour Stokes wanting to cross back up to the upside. They are weak to the downside. We do see 3-hour Stokes pretty much there as well. And 2-hour Stokes have just crossed back up to the upside as well. So that, I do like the array of all those time frames kind of agreeing with each other. And those have been pretty damn accurate at getting the price action, especially for the last 4 to 5 months. And we do see that not only that, but it's kind of paired up with Bitcoin regaining these movement averages. To me, that is likely to lead on to, at the very least, a test into this region right over here, probably in like the next day or two, or whatever it might be. And then overall, because this is an ascending triangle, because it is more statistically likely to break out to the upside, let's go see what the measurement would kind of look like. And I guess we can do it right here on the BitMexico chart. Why not? Do something like this. Very crude way of doing it, but it does work. And let's pull this guy out. When in doubt, pull it out, as the saying goes. And if we just raise this down, raise the roof down, if you can't figure it out, there we go. And we do see that we do have a measure move right in this territory, right around here, right around about 9,800, 9,750 to 9,800 overall. So that would be initiated if we do actually close above the top resistance trend line, right around, it's technically 93.75, but I'd say a little bit more conservatively speaking, 9,400 would work out a little bit better. So if Bitcoin could close a 2-hour and especially a 4-hour dildo above this area, then yes, I would be looking for that next leap towards the 9,800-ish level. I know a lot of people are calling, divergences and whatnot within this range, but I don't see it just yet. And in fact, I think the people who are looking for a major, massive move to the downside are kind of on the wrong side of this, and have been on the wrong side of this for quite some time. This is still to be considered, this is still to be considered bullish until we get some sort of like major and massive and in your face indication that the trend is reversing. And for right now, the trend is your friend, and has been your trend has been your friend, also your trend for the past 5 to 6 months now. So it's a very, 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 very strong trend, and I do think that it's still appropriate to be following it, especially based off these lower time frames right here. But it's not just especially based off these lower time frames. Hold on, let me just dial this one back for a second. Let's go over here to the daily and go back and see what he's doing. So the daily, we have a lot of things to be aware of here. We have a full-on bullish splaying of all the exponentials. We have the red 10 symbol above the yellow 21, above the green 50, above the cyan 89, above the purple 200, above the blue 377 exponential. So all lower periods trade above higher periods. And we just had, a bullish cross right over here and a bullish cross right over here, just setting in that more long-term trend identification to the upside. Doesn't mean that we can't have very nasty pullbacks, to the tune of 30 to 40%, which I do believe Bitcoin will get. Actually, I do believe that Bitcoin will have some pretty nasty drawdowns. But for right now, I'd still actually be bullish in this current trajectory of the price action. Looking at daily, we do see a little bit of a pullback yesterday, but that really just came back down and tested, our horizontals right around 8,900, which we did talk about, early in the day. And not only that, but we do see on our daily oscillators that daily Stokes still headed upwards and onwards. Now they will be getting into the more critical zone here, obviously, and that does offer up a little bit of cause for concern. But still, they're still getting momentum to the upside, and would not fight those. It's completely fine for them to be up there and stay up there for a long time during trending moves. More importantly, it's the daily RSI, which does make me a believer here, as it's been very constructive within this region. And to me, this is just constructing a case right now. It looks good. It doesn't just look good. It looks great, actually, to me. As we will build some bearish divergence at some point in time, but for right now, not quite in there. In fact, the only way that I kind of confirm this is bearish divergence. The only way right now, and I do believe that this covers both the aggressive and the conservative ways, is waiting for a tick below the low of yesterday's daily dildo. If we do that below 89, about 89.20 yesterday, depending upon your exchange, then yes, I do think that Bitcoin would probably reverse back down to the low side of this range, perhaps even further than that. But for right now, I'm really not leaning towards that happening. I do think that we get continuations here first and foremost. Daily RSI, like I said, is constructive and is kind of riding this exponential to the upside. Not only that, but we did get a nice, beautiful breakout out of this falling channel in the RSI right over here, which seems to be kind of constructing itself once again. So, after playing out a little bit of divergence and popping back down, to test our 21, getting picked back up and basically creating, what appears to be either a flag or an ascending triangle, both bullish reaccumulation patterns. Like I always say, I've seen every pattern break out every possible which way. Means very little to me, but overall, in the context of this price action, coming off of a nice move like this probably leads to some more upwards momentum as well. Checking out 12-hour right over here. 12-hour just popping down to the red 10 simple, bouncing off that quite well so far. Not really too much else to say about this one. 12-hour RSI picking up the exponential here. Again, though, pretty much reset itself in the way that I look at it. The way in kind of what I want to see here is I want to see it pop back up to that prior high of 94 region, and that would likely, that's going to be confluent with the lower time frames initiating that next leg. Let's go over here to the 2-day dildo time frame. Again, two-day time frame looks fine to me. We're still trending to the upside. Not only that, but we do see 2-day Stokes having a fresh cross back up to the upside. The 2-day Stokes trading with the same side of the macro trend. In this case, to the upside, the crosses to the upside have been incredibly good and incredibly powerful. So we just crossed up right over here on the about a couple ticks ago. The last time that we had a cross up was, well, right over here technically on the 21st of May. When was that? That was in this segment right over here. The time before that was right over here in May 5th, which was this price action leading up to this move. Then the time before that was this guy right over here on the 14th of March, which was all the way back on over here at about $4,000, of which I'm still holding a position from that region, actually a little bit lower than that, right around 39.30, also 51.50, based off those more long-term, higher time frame trends and whatnot, due in part to the 2-day Stokes. Anyways, we are above all major moving averages here. We also see the same sort of splayed out attempt that we saw in the daily. All lower periods trade above higher periods. Again, setting in that more long-term bias. Remember though, just because a long-term bias would be bullish doesn't mean that we can't have these very nasty pullbacks. We will have some very nasty pullbacks like I said, to the tune of 30 to 40%. But they're going to be buys. It's going to be the big change. So yeah, looking at 2-day RSI, again, we will be building some bearish divergence here, no doubt about that, but for right now, still trending. We don't have a local top in just yet. Needs to set in a local top, then get continuation, then we call bearish divergence, and then we look for, probably about a $500 to $1,000 move down. But for right now, still trending to the upside and can for quite some time. Looking at 3-day right over here, what's 3-day looking like? 3-day Stokes having a fresh cross up to the upside as well. Same thing on these guys, been extremely resilient within this region, and we do see 3-day RSI kind of struggling its way through here. A little bit of hidden bullish divergence between this point and this point, but not really too much else to say about it other than that. We do also have, more importantly, the 3-day jewel getting caught up by the support right over here. So the light blue likely to bounce off this region. And I'd imagine, you know, ideally what I want to see is I want to see Bitcoin actually bounce off this region on the light blue, and it just gets carried up and walked up into the more critical regions right over here, where it gets towards these dotted red lines for my alerts, which in the past, if you make a zone here and you kind of line up these areas and take these signals, you will notice that this thing, you know, typically does signal when you get that signal about 30 to 40% retracements, like you saw right over here, 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 and you get the idea. So anywhere between about 30 to 40% on those guys. And that is, well, quite fucking powerful. But that also would suggest that this thing gets walked up first. So that would suggest some a lot more upwards movements. Remember, this is a 3-day total time frame. So 3 days of price action represented in each and every one tick. So it'd take like, you know, a month to 2 months to get in this region, even if we shot up straight from here. But it just shows that even before that next major retracement, I do want to see some sort of a signal like that. And really, it's going to be this has been the best time frame to kind of judge it off of, and I'm just going to be generally bullish as long as we're not within this region on the light blue oscillator as we've seen in the past. I just think it's time. You know, it's probably bullish is going to be my default answer. So yeah, you know, again, going to be keeping an eyes on it, but it's just not a consideration right now. It's too far away from happening. It'd take about a month of straight up for that thing to even get into the area that would make it an actionable short to begin with. And right now, looks fine. I'll just put it that way. 3-day, of course, we do have the golden cross. We are above the white 200 simple. The white 200 simple just got crossed by the yellow 21 exponential moving average, which has been a damn good cross actually in the history of Bitcoin. You see them cross the downside right over here. Bitcoin gets absolutely shreked, cream pied all the way down. Well, the time before that of them actually crossing back up to the upside was, well, quite literally right after the turnaround in 2015, calling the price action right around 350, and Bitcoin going all the way up for the next 3 years, pretty much just straight up. So this one does seem to be pretty damn powerful to me, and we just got the bullish cross the upside here, while Bitcoin's essentially above all major moving averages and all trends. All trending time frames are bullish essentially in an uptrend up to a monthly, which a monthly is kind of like half bullish in a way, because we have a higher high but we do not have a higher low, and we need a higher low in order to make an uptrend. So at some point in time we will get that pullback, but even looking at a monthly, man, it would suggest that this is, not just men but also females, and also people who do not identify as a gender, and gender fluid people, and also unicorns and koala bears and pandas. If you're one of those, I hope you feel included, because you know what? I don't want to be disrespectful. Yeah, looking at the monthly right over here, remember, in order to set in a higher low, we need to first set in a local high and then take out that high to the downside, get continuation, and then put in the higher low. So even that as a consideration would literally take, at the bare minimum from this date, 3 months. It's going to take a while is what I'm trying to say. And the monthly right here, to me, this is likely to get more continuation. This is good. This what we're looking at is good. We have our first higher high in over a year and a half worth of price action. We see monthly Stokes pointed back up to the upside, plenty of room to roll there. We see monthly RSI regaining the exponential. Very, very good. At some point, this RSI will come back down to retest the exponential. Again, going to likely be another major buying opportunity. But for all these things, all these things that I look at, all the higher timeframes, the macro timeframes, they are bullish. Again, does that mean that the lower timeframes are just going to go like straight up like a fucking erect Pinot? When you see Angelina Jolie, well, maybe not. And I don't know why her name just popped into my mind, because I saw on Twitter like a post of Angelina Jolie from like 1980, and then I realized, holy shit, I'm old. What the fuck, man? It feels like just yesterday you're hearing her name all in the news. Like Britney Spears too. What the fuck? What happened to these people? Where are they? Christina Aguilera, is she even? Who is she now? No one knows. Anyways, looking at weekly for a second, same thing right over here. All lower periods trade above higher periods, and more importantly, we do have continuation off of yesterday's complete buyback. This is strength right here when you see something like that. Not only that, but I do believe that we're going to start to test the upper Bollinger Band once again, and guess where that is? Is that around 9,800? Does that also match up with the measure move on the lower time frames that we looked at right over here? That's so strange. Anyways, off my own autistic rants. I do apologize about that. And if you are new to this channel and you might be coming here by the likes of Ivan on Tech, I want to say, hey, welcome, pleasure to meet you. Also apologize and explain my colorful language. Hey, my language is never intended to offend. I know that it can be maybe a little bit on the more colorful side, like I just said, but it's never intended to offend. So I understand that some people are not going to be cool with it. That's all well and good. I guess we can just leave it here, but fair enough. Everyone's entitled to their own opinions, and I'm a strong believer in that. But again, I just always want to make sure, hey, yes, I do use some maybe more harsher language at some points in times. It's never intended to offend anyone, ever. Only just for, well, just as a means of expressing myself. I mean, when recording these videos for prolonged periods of time, the best way to do it is just by not filtering anything that I say. And so sometimes little butterflies can come out, and you just never know. So yeah, anyways, with regards to what we're looking at right over here on the weekly, we do see top trolling band coming in right around that 9,800-ish level, which if you remember at the beginning of the stream, we did talk about the measure moves on the lower time frames to 9,800 as well, based off of this ascending triangle right here. And then also, if you remember, this cup and handle right here did have a measure move up as well. And then also this massive ascending triangle right over here also had its own measure move towards that same area. So we have three things pointing towards the same area. Again, this guy right over here, actually going to be pointing a little bit higher towards maybe 10,000, and then the cup and handle right over here that we saw in the lower time frames also going to be pointed up towards, or sorry, we already hit that one. Sorry, I do apologize about that one. No, that one's already been met, but we do have these two guys still pointed up here, one towards 10,000, one towards about 9,800. So that would be the next zone, so to speak. That's going to be the next zone in my opinion, and I wonder if that matches up with a fib. I should already know this. I've done this a million times, but let's check it out. Let's see. Yeah, we do have the 382 fib from the ultimate high to the ultimate low so far, coming in right around 94.50. Now we have had a good reaction, or not a good reaction off that just so far. Bitcoin selling down from about 9,500 to 8,900, so about a $500 move. So that is a 5% move, but is that what you'd expect from a major fib from literally over a year and a half worth of price action? Probably not. I'd probably expect more. What does really make sense to me here is the 0.5. You see this 0.5 retracement right around 11,400. That exactly matches up with our prior highs right over here in March 2018 on this double top around this region, which was, in my opinion, that's probably one of the biggest areas going forwards here. If and when Bitcoin does get above that area, I would expect it to actually rip, but getting above that area is going to be quite the bitch to begin with. And putting on the volume profile right over here, you do see that the last of the Mohicans for these higher value nodes are coming in around right around this 0.5 region. So we do see that anything above that region is basically met with pretty much low market acceptance all the way through. And I would say that probably does that does imply that we can really rip through this area. So the last of the big resistances for Bitcoin, in my opinion, is going to be around 11,400. Yes, you will have some points of interest right around 13,000 as well, 13,300, 16,000, but they're not going to be as important as these ones that we're dealing with right here. To put this into perspective, look at the volume profile here, and you do see that we are extremely thick in the 3,000 level, also in the 4,000 and 7,000 level. Well, Bitcoin was moving at a snail's pace during those times. If you know, I'm sure that you remember if you've been around this, if you've been around these spheres for even just the last year or so. Bitcoin moving extremely slow, like molasses through these areas, and that's because we have these massive high value nodes. Well, when we lose all these above this region, that's when that's when you can rip once again. You basically get the opposite effect. So yeah, just something that I wanted to briefly mention, because if and when Bitcoin does get above that area, I would expect some pretty fucking momentous movements. Anyways. So to kind of synthesize down what I've been saying for this video, it's pretty much the same as the last video of yesterday. And essentially, this area right here is still your actionable area at about 89.30 region, and this area right over here is still your actionable region for the upside, 93.75. If we break up 93.75 to the upside, I would be looking for a move ultimately towards around that 9,800 to 10,000 region. If we break this guy to the downside, then I'd be looking for a move at the very least to about 8,500, and then we'll reassess if and when that does happen. happen. But for right now, I would take the more, I certainly stand on the side of the bulls right now. Krown runs with bulls. What I want to be called? No, just kidding. Krown sits with bulls, or Krown doesn't join any fucking gangs. And Krown also refers to himself in the third person, which sounds absolutely fucking retarded. And I mean retarded in the scientific sense, not in the mean in the social justice warrior sense. Looking at over here on Bitcoin CMEs, we do see just a massive gap up. So far, still looking fine to me. We do have a little bit, it looks a little bit more toppy in this one, actually. In fact, a lot more toppy. Have we taken out the low of yesterday? We have not. We just came back and retested it. That's okay, but I would say that an early warning signal that Bitcoin is going to break down to the lower 8,500-ish region is if we do actually take out the low of yesterday officially at 89.85. If we just tick below there, then yes, probably do come back down to about 8,500 right over here. So do keep that in mind. This one probably does tell you sooner than spot charts because I'd rather wait for a close on spot charts. Yeah, if you do see this one tick below, I'd be looking for a move back down around here, fill the gap, and I'd probably be, and I would be a buyer anywhere around 8,500 most likely. Again, this is not financial. I'm not a financial advisor. If the SEC is listening, go fuck yourself, but also leave me alone first. Thank you. So yeah, looking at daily Stokes right over here, plenty of room to roll, and I do like this one. In fact, just riding this trend line kind of to the downside, catching the lows, operating pretty damn well. We do see daily RSI again, going to be building some divergence here, no doubt about that. But for right now, still, this is not considered a local high just yet. It is suspect, no doubt about that. But until we check out the low of the prior dildo, I wouldn't front run it just yet. Looking at daily Jewel, this one could get a little bit menacing here. I don't want to call it just yet before it actually happens, but could look a little bit menacing. What else we got? I do want to check out GBDC. How did GBDC close the day yesterday? Down, actually. Yeah, a little bit of a downwards action. In fact, I would consider this a full-on gap fill for GBDC, hitting our target down around 11.25 actually perfectly. So we're seeing divergence between GBDC and spot charts and also CMEs. And GBDC has not made new highs, and it has actually come back down and filled that gap where we have not seen the spot charts do that. Is this one going to be the leading indicator once again that we saw during 2018? And does this imply that we're going to head back down to about 8,500? Maybe, but again, this one hasn't. I think it might be more of a topic of conversation that this one's actually decoupling from our spot charts, just because the closer and closer that we get to something like backdoor and ETF is the time of doom for something like GBDC, which trades OTC and probably not going to be too relevant when if and when Bitcoin does get those more legitimate avenues of trading available. So yeah, I would say that this one. You can make the argument for both ways, right? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And of course, the price action levels that I'd be looking for much more important than what GBDC is telling right over here. Let's go check out the underlying market dynamics right now. Let's see what the crypto fear and greed index looks like. We're ticking at an 82 right now. That is extreme greed. We are getting comfortable in this extremely greedy area, but just like the extremely fearful area during the bear market, you could get comfortable in there. You could stay there for like a month at times. It was usually a time to not be so aggressive. So we do have some underlying market dynamics suggesting that this is a little bit more of an area of caution. So I do think that's worth mentioning. I just realized that you can't actually see that. Let me just scroll my face down, my ugly rat face, and there you go, right there. Yeah, we're really getting up to more than yearly highs in this region. It's never been this higher. Never gone higher, baby. Can't go higher, bro. But yeah, overall, would say that this is an area of a little bit more caution from the macro perspective, I suppose you could say. But remember, it can stay, just like in the fearful bear markets of 2018, we stayed in the more fearful areas for months at a time. This one, just getting in here right now, is an early warning signal, but not necessarily a warning, like a full-on warning signal in and of itself. Looking at longs and shorts, we do see an imbalance between the two, and actually growing in favor of the shorts now. So we do have a decent amount of shorts on the table, 25,000 open shorts versus 23,500 open longs. We got about, a lot of these guys are hedged. Actually, I'm glad that I looked at this right here. 2,500 of these guys are hedged, so we really have 22,500 open naked shorts. There's actually more longs and shorts on the table right now if you're incorporating that by about a margin of 1,000, and longs are paying a bigger rate here, so that'd be a little bit more on the bearish side, I suppose, as well. And let's go back on to Bitcoin. How's Bitcoin doing? Are you operating well? Are you operating good? Are you SAFU? Are you safe? Yeah, still kind of chugging its way along on the lower time frames. I suppose the hourly is kind of it's fine. I'd put more weight on the 2 hour, 3 hour, and 4 hour, which all those stokes are either turning or in the process of turning, and that does offer up the potential for that move, that next move up into the 9350, 9400 region. Anyways, what else did I want to talk about? Let's go check out the other top shitcoins. How about Mrs. Litecoin? She's been operating rather well, I believe. Yeah, filling out her own triangle right over here. And in fact, we could adjust this so it's a little bit more like this. Now, do I think that this is the right way to represent this triangle? Actually, no. I would be more lenient with it and still incorporate this horizontal right here at about 120. Let's call it 128. You know, as long as that one holds, I still give the nod to the bulls here. But this one is starting to look a little bit more menacing, I suppose you could say. Daily, really do not want to. I mean, the daily makes it easy for this one to trade, right? Sorry, my nose is itching. Got some of those allergies. And oh, by the way, I really want to reach out to all the people who came to me with some information on how to like sleep well. That sounds so weird, but like how to set up your own like sleep space so that it's completely dark. That was really fucking helpful. Massive thank you. I hope I've gotten back to everyone who reached out to me and just at the very least with a thank you note, because it was really helpful. And again, this is why I love this community. I don't know these things. I don't have time to look at these things because, I'm looking at fucking magic and money. So someone who comes to me and offers up that sort of valuable piece of information, that's what community is all about, man. We all come from different walks of life and different backgrounds, and we all have something unique to offer. We really do. And I really strongly believe that. Daily right over here, we do see daily Stokes wanting to cross back up to the upside. Remember that this trend line has been holding this bitch through. Not only that, but we do have a nice, a nice hammer dildo on the bottom right over here above all major movement averages. I do think that this one does get continuation here. Actually, I do think that it tries to make the next leg up. Our next target is going to be right around 148 to 150 region. And for all intents and purposes, I do think that one does get hit. The only way that I kind of switch around that idea is if we took out 128 to the downside. If we take out 128 to the downside, I'd be looking for a move back down to the low 120s. But for right now, Mrs. Litecoin operating well, operating good, and looking at higher time frames, they are certainly still bullish. I mean, the weekly right over here is very powerful. And again, targets to the upside going to be around 148 to 150 for this one. A little bit more long-term to medium-term would be 170 region, which we should be able to map out from the volume profile as well. Yeah, let's get it right on over here. Might have to sneeze, so just give me a second. But it's coming. Sorry about that. Highly unprofessional. But the show must go on. Okay, so yeah, that's Mrs. Litecoin right there. I think overall good. 3 day, let's get rid of this. Really annoying. 3 days, just kind of trying to flag out right now. Again, I give it the benefit of the doubt, although I can understand that would kind of set a lot of people off. But looking at 3 day RSI, still consolidating, which is what it should say. 2 day, same thing here. Same thing here. So again, the lower time frames are really going to be the areas of action. So as long as it remains above 128 at the very least, but you could even make a decision. You could even make a decision here, I suppose, at 130.5. As long as it holds those areas, generally good, generally looking for some more up. Let's see what else we got. Let's check out BNB token. Where's CZ coin? There he is, 35.25. So hit our target from yesterday. And I do think that this one does carry up onwards and over from here as well. Again, I don't know what you call this formation. I mean, we had a ascending broadening wedge right over here, then basically creating either a cup and handle or an ascending triangle right here. Again, I don't really care for patterns, but this one bullish as well. Probably does break this region right around 35.25 and make our legs towards our next target around $38 to $40, which I do think that it hits. Overall, this one's been extremely constructive. One of the better charts in cryptocurrency land, if not one of the best. Looking at weekly, again, very good. The second that it takes out 36.36, I'd be looking for that move towards about 39 to $40. Right from that origin. Wow, again, one of the best charts for sure in cryptocurrencies. Looking overall good here. Daily Stokes are even down right now, while price action has been basically being constructive. I do like that. I do like that signature. What about 12 hour? 12 hour looking good as well. 12 hour looking like it wants to make a move. Actually, let's go check out Mr. Beaterall. What's our other leader doing over here? Come on, glorious leader, Mr. Vitalik Beaterall. What do we have here? Probably does make another run towards 274.5. on lower time frames. Not as strong as the other majors, certainly not as strong as the other majors, but probably does catch one of them. You know, to me, this still looks like some sort of a bullish consolidation here, whether you want to call it a flag or whatever, or bullish triangle, bullish rectangle, whatever the fuck it wants to be. It doesn't matter to me. I only care about support and resistance, and this one very cut and dry. The second that you get back above 276 region, I'd be looking for this guy to take the next leg towards our $300 target. Then I think it was like $360 or $400 after that, so something like that. Check out the weekly for a second. Your weekly still looks okay to me. It's not beautiful, but from the weekly perspective, you know, as long as I mean, it's kind of a bullshit thing to say, but as long as it remains above 230, it's bullish. But again, that is a weekly, so it takes more time. Weekly Stokes still good to the upside, fine by me. Lower time frames, how are they looking? Yeah, 4 hour, again, it's not as confidence inducing as the other majors, but it is okay, and I do think that it catches wind of the strength of the general market, and probably at the very least comes back up and tests this region here as we spoke about at 274.5. Then we'll reassess from there. But if I had to lean one way, it'd probably be it would be to the upside for further upside. Let's go check out traditional markets. I didn't look at them yet. Did I look at them yesterday? No, I did not. Another up move. Jesus Christ, this one flagging out, taking that next leg up. Do believe that we have new highs on the weekly. I'm bullish. We spoke about this yesterday, that as soon as we were going to take out that 291.5 region, I would be looking for a move towards 295. How high did we get? We got to 294. I think that we still likely have some upside here. And what's up? What's up, Ferky Shrek? Or is that, hopefully I got the name right. It's very difficult to see on my screen. I do apologize if I did say it wrong. I'm not intending to be disrespectful in that way. But I do want to say, hey, welcome, and good to meet you. So yeah, you know, this one I do think, you know, probably crawls back up to actually 294, which should have been the target for me. I don't know why I said 295. Did I say 295? Did we get up there? Oh, no, we haven't gotten up there. Yeah, 294 is the appropriate target. And what's up, John Kenny? Good to meet you, man. Good to have you in here. I think I got that name even right. Ha. Yeah, do you think that, you know, kind of already hit that. Yeah, 294. We got up to 293.5 on that last one. So yeah, pretty fucking close. I don't have a strong opinion on this right now, but based off the weekly, I would have to be bullish, just based off that. We do see weekly Stokes crossing or wanting to cross back up to the upside. We do see weekly RSI being constructive, regaining the exponential. I would lean to the upside here. Does this thing make new highs from here? Probably. This is so fucking insane. I don't think I've really ever seen a monthly like this on traditional markets, where we literally basically get a fake out, and then it gets bought back up the next month. That's incredibly powerful. That's really fucking bullish. Holy shit. The second that we take out the high of last month at about 295, yeah, so that was a high, which we came about $1.50 short on that last rally attempt yesterday night. Then I'm bullish. I'm mega bullish, looking for another leg, into the 300s. Longer term. Wow. Monthly Stokes pointing back upwards and onwards, defending the same area from the last 10 years since November 2009. Wow. Powerful SPYs. And again, we do see a correlation between SPYs and traditional markets and Bitcoin. If we do put on the good old correlation indicator, let's see the correlation. Oh, nope, that's not what I want to do. Coefficient. Let's see, where's Ballypoor? There he is. There you are, my beautiful Ballypoor. Apply that, and what do we have? Yeah, so looking at weekly, and this purple down here, this is basically a correlation coefficient between Bitcoin and whatever we're looking at on screen, which is right now the major index for traditional market SPYs, or FPX, whatever you want to call it. And we are positively correlated, not super positively correlated, but we are certainly positively correlated. What about the monthly? Monthly is negatively correlated, but I think that's going to be a little bit too lagging. Let's see how the 3 days looking like. 3 days going to be negative as well. 2 days going to be negative. Dailies going to be a little bit positive, but it's weekly that it's operating off. And because this is a little bit more of a lagging indicator, I do think that it's more appropriate to look at some like the weekly. And yeah, they do have that positive correlation. So strength in traditional markets still benefiting Bitcoin as well. Direct indicator right there telling you that. Again, I know that the crypto anarchists hate to hear something like that, but it's what it's showing you. Don't fight the trend. Let's go check out what's good old Link over here. Our new joiner of the charts. Happy to have Link, powerful Link, very powerful Link. What do we have on the daily? A little bit of a pullback. Would I still be bullish on this thing is a real question. And to do that, I think I'd actually need to go down to the lower time frames. Still flagging out in this territory. I think that that's fine. I think that's completely fine. I'd be using the 4-hour 21 exponential moving average. I'm bullish as long as it rides it. As long as it rides that, I am bullish. And I do think that it moves back up towards 22,500. Looks fine to me. In fact, 4-hour Stokes have just been resetting, coming down for the last few ticks while price action is stagnant. That's just allowing it to reset. That's fine by me. 12-hour still okay. I would say that I would change my bias on this if we do take out 19,000 to the downside, even just a tick below, and then I'd be looking for a more nasty retracement down to this region around 16,500. But I'm not leaning towards that happening. I think that this one's flagging out, getting ready for the next move higher. For right now, I do think it's constructive. Lower time frames probably work their way back up towards 22,000 satoshis. So yeah. Cardano, what's Cardano doing? Salvaging itself, but in the overall, I mean, it's pretty much drooping pretty hard here. We do see weekly continuation. We do have continuation actually officially there as well. I do think that this one may, comes back down towards the low 900 region, like 920 to 900 even. I really don't like the weekly here. Really fucking bad. I would change my mind, I suppose, if we could get back above 1030. If we could get back above 1030, I would maybe change my mind for the medium term, but it looks bad. What else we got? GBDC, we looked at that. BNB, we looked at that. Zcash, what are we looking at? Zcash, powerful Zcash. Golden Cross, confirmed above all major moving averages. I'm bullish on this one, man. I'm bullish on this one. We hit our first target at 106, and my next target's going to be right here around 135. Let's actually put this in to keep me accountable, and let's do something like this. Yeah, somewhere right around here, about 134, 135. Do I think that it like hits there today? No, I don't think that it hits there today. But I do think that it's, the medium to higher timeframes have now initiated that path, probably sometime over the next couple of weeks or whatever it ends up being. Weekly is going to be looking pretty damn good. In fact, weekly agreeing with that around 130. So 130 to 135, we'll call it, is the next leg that I'm looking for on this one. Bcash, what's Bcash doing? Laggard, very much a laggard right now, actually struggling to hold on to this area. But I do think that, the rest of the market kind of props it up. And it pops back up shorter term timeframes to 425, and longer term probably pops back up to like 440, or sorry, medium term. Longer term, again, it's not the most confidence inducing chart of all time, especially with the rest of the market looking on the stronger side. Tron Cash looks like it wants to move back up towards what is this? 0.0345 cent. And overall, this is just a bullish reaccumulation here is what it looks like to me as well. I think a lot of these things are getting ready for moves right now. Just had a bull cross of the red 10 symbol, the yellow 21. Overall good, man. Weekly's looking fine as well. Weekly looks like it wants to take a leap towards 3.8 cent. Again, I think that this one's bottomed out. This is your bottoming formation, and we're getting ready to move higher. Neocash, what's Neocash doing? Again, not as good as the rest of them, but okay. We do have some obvious bearish divergence here, but I do think that this mostly played out. We did have a pretty nasty downwards movement of about to the tune of about 11.5%. So that I think that's mostly played out here. Again, not the strongest one of the bunch, but lower time frames probably do test back up towards 14.25. If the rest of the market moves up here, this thing will make new highs with it above $15. But again, it's not a leader by any means. Just following the rest of the market. So the rest of the market needs to move up for that one to do well. EOS, kind of same thing here as well. Lost its role as market leader. Was doing damn well over here, but not so much anymore. And very similar to Neo, actually, very 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 similar to Neo. In fact, a little bit more on the weaker side, I would say. Let's go to a 4-hour. 4-hour does look like it wants to pop back up towards $7, 7 and 2 cents maybe. Again, it's going to depend on the rest of the market. Does the rest of the market want to really make new legs? And this thing you'll probably find like 780 once again. But for right now, on the weaker side. Ripple me nipples cash, and what do we have? Same thing, actually looking like it wants to take a little bit of a move up here, probably test back towards 44-cent region. Overall, I do think that Ripple is kind of getting ready for a move here as well. We just had a bullish cross of the red 10 symbol, the yellow 21. We are kind of operating in this nice flag or ascending triangle, whatever you want to call it. I mean, basically we had a symmetrical triangle breakout to the upside. We've come back down and retested the breakout. So far it's holding, but realistically, because we haven't really seen volume confirmation on this, what this really is what what it's really going to morph into is something like this, like an ascending triangle, which would basically imply the same sorts of things. A bullish pattern probably does, still does have a measure move pointing us towards like 52, 53 cents. So Ripple gang out there going to be happy about that, but needs to break back above this area about 45 cents. So again, overall, looking on the better side, I would say. Monero, what's Monero doing? So on the stronger side, yeah, hey, not bad, Monero. I would still be sticking with the target of about 115 region. I do believe that that's going to be the next major area. Stellar, what's Stellar doing? 12.5 cent it looks like, and kind of a subsidiary of Ripple is what it looks like. I do think that it gave you another chance to buy down at 12.25 cent, as we spoke about yesterday. But this flag a little bit on the weaker side compared to the rest of the market. If I want to plot it out, it's very obviously something like this, right? We have this guy right over here and this guy right over here. There is a measure move to be made off this one, as you can see, and that's pointing us all the way up towards about 17.5 cents. So if we actually can break above this region right over here, about 13 cents, if you can break back above that area, I would be pretty fucking bullish on this one. But this one, again, not a market leader, just kind of following the rest of the market, and neither strong nor weak. Let's go check out, I do want to check out the dollar index for a second as well. Dollar index getting a massive up right here. Again, we've been speaking about this for a while. The dollar index kind of contra to Bitcoin in a sense, and dollar index kind of rallying off this region is interesting to me. I know a lot of people wanted to get bearish on this one. Nope, this was the time to get bullish on this one. I wasn't covering this one too much for the past week or so. For the past like week or two or so, but I do think that this one still, has some upside here, and probably does pop back up towards 98 or so. Well, we already hit our target at 97.67, but I would say probably a little bit more actually over time. With all that said, I do want to get back on over to Mr. Bitcoin and start to wrap this bitch up, as we do have 91.69. Great number, just absolutely beautiful number. Let's go down and really make this simple right here. It needs to be no more complicated than this. 4 hour, I would still give the nod to the bulls. I would still have a bullish bias here. But of course, my trading activities are not dependent upon my mind activities. My opinions, what I'm trying to say. I don't trade my opinion. I trade technical analysis. Hey, I will get bearish is not the right word. I will be looking for a flush to the downside if we can either close a 4-hour dildo below 90, about 90.90. If we can do that, close a 4-hour dildo below there, then yes, I'd look for a move down to about 8,500, 8,600. Or if we even just tick below the low of yesterday at about 89.30-ish region, right around here. If we tick below the low of yesterday, that confirms the bearish divergence, and then I'd be looking for that move to about 8,500. By the same token, I'm not really leaning towards that. I'm leaning towards the upside here. If Bitcoin does break, I do think that Bitcoin probably does work its way back up towards 9,300, 9,350, but the real fireworks begin, or the main attraction begins if we can actually break above and confirm at the very least a 2-hour, but preferably a 4-hour dildo above 93.75 if you want to be super exact, but 93.50 would be fine. I'd be looking for a move fulfilling this gap, or this area right over here at around 9,800, also matching up with our Troll bands, the top of the Troll bands, and then we'll reassess from there. But for right now, Bitcoin's still looking constructive, still looking very resilient within this area. And if you did take these buys off this area yesterday night, hey, not bad, not bad. Gave you multiple times to scalp it, and now actually getting a little bit of a trending move on the lower time frame. So with all that said, I do want to wish you well. I want to wish you the best, the happiest of the happiest, as we do say on this lovely Hump Day Wednesday. I'll be back on later with some more live stream analysis, and look forward to seeing you there. If not, well, wishing you well anyways, and take care.